Good morning. I would like to call the February 5th of 2021 residents meeting to order. It has been a little while since we've spoken to the residents, so we're going to do a little bit of catching up. But this morning we're going to start out with the invocation from Don Jones.
Let's take just a moment in prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you this day for your love, which has always been there. We remember so many people who have died, and we thank you for life itself. We would ask you to be with this fellowship here at Westminster. We thank you for those who minister to us. We thank you for your love which comes through one another. So at this meeting today, may we have your blessing upon us to give us wisdom, give us love, and give us hope. In thy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Don. I want to recap what has happened with the Residents Committee, with the Residents Council, before we start any reports. And I apologize, but I'm going to read to you because there's a lot of details in what I'm saying. And you will also receive a copy of this with the minutes. So if you don't follow everything, you will have the opportunity to look at it later. At the October residents meeting, I announced the appointment of a nominating committee to interview and find residents willing to run for the Residents Council. During the month of October, the nominating committee conducted interviews for potential nominees and didn't find any current residents willing to run. The entire election process was, of course, affected by the coronavirus and its influence on the activities of our community. There were 3 resident council members running for re-election, so the bylaw requirements for a slate of nominees to be voted upon were met. At the November residents meeting, which is the last meeting that we had, the slate of nominees was announced and voting took place during the month of November. Votes were tabulated, and with the short ballot, all 3 incumbents running were elected to a second term. The resident council members re-elected for a second term were Mimi Severs, Sue Henderson, and Judy Starbuck. Normally those results would have been announced at the December residents meeting. The chairman of the nominating committee, who would normally give this report, is on isolation and is unable to attend the meeting today. The shelter in place and partner in safety programs were enacted, and the resident council had very limited activities. We had no committee in-person meetings and no resident council meetings in December or January. The committees were still actively involved in their respective areas. Questions and concerns were handled with emails and phone conversations instead of in person. The Residents Council did prepare summaries of reports of what the respective committees were involved in, and those reports were in your mailboxes. I want to announce today that we have a new chairman of the Activities Committee, Carolyn Mendoza, and she will be giving the report today. We welcome her to the Residents Council and look forward to working with her. I want to thank Judy Starbuck for her many years of serving as chairman of the Activities Committee and wish her all the best. So today I'm going to ask the secretary to bring the approval of the minutes from the last official residents meeting that we had in November to the floor for approval. There were no official meetings in December or January, so no official minutes. So there are no official minutes to be approved. Our Westminster Village community will be cautiously and slowly returning to regular activities as the vaccination process gives us the immunization we so need. I'm going to turn it over to Sue, our secretary.
Thank you, Catherine. Madam President, the Westminster Village Residents Association meeting minutes dated November 9th, 2020 have been duly transcribed and distributed. I move they be adopted.
Is there a second?
I'll second the minutes. All approved, say aye.
Aye.
The minutes are approved. Mimi, will you give us the treasurer's report?
Thank you, Catherine. As Catherine just mentioned, we haven't been together for several months, and rather than bore you with the details of each individual month, I compiled a joint treasurer's report for October 2020 through January 2021. We began that period on October 1st with a balance of $13,168.53. We had total deposits to the Employees Gift Fund of $166,287, and we had one deposit to the Caring Lenders Fund of $25. In December of 2020, we had disbursements in the form of employees' gift checks in the amount of $170,200. There were some bank charges, mainly for new checks to write those checks to the employees, and a miscellaneous charge of $129.20. So we ended on the end of January 31st, 2021, with a balance of $9,151.33. And that's comprised of the Employees Gift Fund, $4,682.78, and the Caring Lenders Fund of $4,468.55, for a grand total in our bank account of $9,151.33. Thank you.
Thank you, Mimi.
At this time, we will have the reports from each of the 5 committees.
Hello, I'm Sandra Harris, Chairperson of Dining Services, and I'm excited that February is finally here. For one thing, the beauty salon opens today, but I'm here to talk about dining services. On February 22nd, Ocotillo and the Garden Cafe will open for in-house dining, but they are already open if you want to take your pickup or delivery food bags into the restaurants or into the patio with a friend. There will be tables for 2 that you can walk in. There will not be table service, but of course the tables will be clean for you to enjoy being out of your apartment. So that's a step in the right direction. February 14th, this next Sunday, is Valentine's Day, and there will be special theme meals from both Ocotillo and the Garden Cafe. Ocotillo's brunch, it is a Sunday, will have a Valentine theme, and the Garden Cafe will have a special entree of seafood, including scallops and pasta and chocolate-covered strawberries. So you ask, what about Donnelly's? And I'm glad you asked about that, because you'll be happy to hear that, and this is tentative, and this is also all I know at this time, or that the committee knows. On March 6th, that's the first week in March, Saturday night, Donnelly's will be providing the Donnelly's Delivery Saturday night special dinners, and that will be weekly. I know these have been a sellout in the past, so I'm sure that you'll look forward to getting more information about that. Residents are asked to be in their apartments at the time that your food delivery has been scheduled. In other words, the time you ask for it to be delivered. They cannot leave the food in the bag at the door on the floor because of sanitary reasons, and also if it's left on the hook, then the food tends to slide in one direction. So please plan to be home at the time that you asked. We have been asked that how the changes in the menus are made and how frequently they are made. The menus are closely watched by Mike Charles and Nick Apostoles as to what sells and what doesn't. And quarterly they make changes to the menus such that those that aren't selling as well leave the everyday menus. And some people wonder why their favorite menu items have left, like mine, braised short ribs or fisherman's platter or lamb kebabs, and that's simply that they're not selling as much as other items, but you do see them on a rotation. So they do come around. It's just that they're not offered every day. Westminster offers 26 entrees each day, and that is by far the most variety of any senior residential community. And so none of the items that we have had in terms of variety, we still have the same. We have a new dietitian. Terry Sears has retired, deservedly so, and she helped to select and to orient our new dietitian, Leanne Kinney. I'll be telling you more about Leanne because she'll be a guest speaker next month at dining services. But we certainly welcome her to the Westminster community and wish Terry Sears the very best retirement. At our meeting last week, finally, Mike said that by March, dining services will almost be back to normal. So there is light at the end of this long, dark tunnel.
Hi everybody, I'm Joanne Benzer and I'm the chairman of the Health Services Committee, and I'm pleased to give the report this month on behalf of my committee. Last month I mentioned that we welcomed three new members to our committee, Kathy Brown, Mary Christensen, and Althea McConnell. They took full force this week and really participated well, so we're fully integrated, those three new people. In addition, this month, we welcomed two new or relatively new staff or interim staff to our health services area. Don Abdouche, who is the Wyrick Health Care Center Administrator, and Michael Calderon, the interim Sackton Assisted Living Manager. These folks are actually both returning to Westminster, and since I've talked to both of them now a few times, they're so excited to be back. They just think Westminster is the best in the country. They have both visited and worked at other facilities, and they're just grinning with joy that they're back here. And I know many of you are happy to see their faces again as well. Todd reported on his initiatives for this year, and continuing, of course, is the COVID incidents task force, which is really he and all the admin staff people. Obviously, as we are also grateful, those incidents are becoming less, and the necessity of that committee to work as hard as they have been working is better as well. So Todd is looking forward to his new initiatives this year. But going back a bit on the COVID item, one thing that I think we should all be very, very proud of is that we are one of the safest communities in the valley, in the area, and in the country. We have to applaud the staff. We know it's been hard for all of us, but isn't that just great that we are in that position? The operations that our staff planned and created, I had a chance to visit all their offices down there when it was in Nuremberg and see it in action, and see all the reports, and see all of the things that they do when they planned and whatever. And they are actually being recognized nationally for the plan that they put in place. So again, we can pat them on the back and be very, very proud of them. And as speaking on behalf of the committee, our big desire at the beginning was that they be transparent with us and that we get constant communication. And I think you all will agree that we had plenty of communication from them. The so-called 360 on Thursdays, and then other updates as they were necessary, Tom Talks, other activities during the year kept us, I think, quite well informed, and certainly did the committee's bidding as it relates to communications. The new stuff for Tom as an initiative, he's got two initiatives that he's taking on this year. One is the reorganization of his team. I mentioned two of the others earlier. He's also going to be adding a social services director this year. And all of this is being done to really enable Todd to lead as opposed to be a worker bee, which he's kind of had to be lately. So he's tickled about his new people. As I mentioned, Mike is likely to be an interim, but still he's able to look at the people he has working for him and think about the changes that are necessary to make their staff duties even more effective. On hold, and the big one for him this year is the relicensure from skilled nursing to advanced assisted living. I think you all probably remember that was going to be taking effect in July of past year. He's going to be focusing his time first on the relicensure, and then following that up with the remodel of Wyrick. So phase 1 is relicensure, phase 2 is going to be Wyrick, and that will probably be in phases as well. From the staff, Sackton, three people moved into Sackton in January, and 2 are expected in February. They've been able to increase the resident and spouse visits to longer visits, which everybody is very happy about. Both Don and the people living at Wyrick are tickled that Bree Smith and her Fine Activities group are putting together new things for them to do, and they're just very, very excited about that. And the care plan meetings between staff and families has been through Zoom and have proved to be very, very effective. They can do them more frequently and what have you, so it's maybe one of those changes that came about with Zoom, that some things can be done maybe better in a different way. Summit, Lindsay reports that they are working currently with 48 people campus-wide. She's hired a wonderful new therapist. Her name is Allison McKay. I had the pleasure of meeting and working with her. She comes with some very interesting certifications that brings new talent to the team as well. I remind you each month, because I think it's important, and I love the tagline, call, don't fall. They do free balance assessments, and I encourage, if you haven't had one, to have one. If you've had one before, maybe it's time for another one. But they are pleased to do them. They're there for you. All you need to do is give them a buzz. Imagine home health. Well, I think we know how busy they've been with the 2 vaccination days. I happen to think they did a fantastic job, and Walgreens, of course, but our staff in pulling off a big day on both occasions. We learned that all but 3 people living here had their vaccinations. I think that's absolutely incredible. I wasn't expecting anything near that close. I was hoping in the 95, 98 percentile, but all but 3. So I think that's terrific. And remind you all that if you are having any symptoms that you think are as a result of yesterday's test, please give them a call. Don't hold off on that. And now I come to the committee's strategic activity of the year. And this really came about because of some phone calls that I had earlier in the year, and they kind of mushroomed in a way. And we've decided as a committee to take on a strategic activity, which we're naming Sharing Personal Information. Many of you may have had the occasion where you wondered where your neighbor down the hall is. You haven't seen them recently, or someone fell and they went to the hospital. Where are they? How are they? Those kinds of things. And all of that, we realized that the plan and what we do hasn't been really looked at for a while. It's been in place, but maybe it's time that we looked at some of the processes that we have in place. So it is going to be the committee's strategic initiative for this year to focus on that, because it will take a good part of the year, because some of the activities will take that long to accomplish. As I mentioned earlier, we've got new staff, and we've got staff that are in new roles. That means new information to learn and to, can I share that? Should I share that? Whatever is going on, part of the training. We know that technology is changing this year, and one of the big ones is going to be the operational technology for Westminster Village. And as I think most of you probably know, the basis of information nowadays comes from database information. So naturally a part of that whole activity. All departments are going to be creating their data points. They're going to be making decisions on who owns that, how frequently it's updated, who can access it. All that kind of stuff is going to have to be decided and implemented during this year. Very much part of the sharing of information. So what do we have now? As you were reminded in the Villager the last couple of weeks, existing is an authorization form that you signed when you came in. You can have a copy of your own, you can get a new one, and if you want to make changes, please do so. But actually what that is what information can be provided and what you've authorized to be provided. But it might have changed, but it isn't the information either, it's just the what can. So you still get down to what information can be shared, who can access it, and what have you. Health Services has some information. Perhaps power of attorney, perhaps resuscitation orders, things of that nature. Are they linked together? So again, the IT operation project will bring some of those things together. HIPAA and licensing creates the privacy and risk authorities. So they have to fit into all of this somewhere. So you can see why it's a big project, and we're excited to take it on. I can't tell you what a great meeting we had yesterday, or whatever. Everybody was so excited and had questions and raising their hands and what have you. So we're happy to take it on. What are the next steps? We will be having a small group work on the project plan, what we're going to do and when we're going to do it, and what have you. And there is going to be a heart-to-heart, my other favorite projects, activity that will, in the meantime, give you the opportunity to provide information to people that you want to provide it to. I'll leave it at that, but we did a test in one of our neighborhoods, worked out very, very well. It was simple, it was easy, and you'll be hearing more of that obviously, nothing is mandatory, but if you want to begin to be part, if you want to share your information with other people, yeah, the authorization form does it, but the actual information is not part of that permission. So watch hearing from Jane or I from heart to heart about that activity. As Don mentioned earlier, we're a community that loves and cares deeply about one another. And naturally, we are concerned that people are doing well, and we want to know how they're doing. So I'm excited about this project. I'm excited about all the new things that we're going to be looking at this year. As the pandemic life lifts from our shoulders, we can go into new things. So thank you all. If you need anything from Health Services, don't hesitate to give me a buzz. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Eleanor Fredrickson, and I'm the chairman of the Marketing, Communication, and Administration Committee. Kathy McCullough reported that marketing has had one apartment available this year. We had one move-in in January, and several people are moving in this month. All of these are the result of 2020 sales. Right now, we have 4 apartments where people are moving out, and we have several apartments that are yet to be vacated. With this news, we know that our construction crew is working daily to get apartments ready, and our marketing people are very, very busy selling. Tina and Susan did a great job last year, and we know that they will do the same this year. The new resident directory will be distributed February 22nd. You should have received a form asking you to confirm or modify your information. You may want to add your email to the directory. Please be prompt in returning your form no later than February 11th. And this is important for them to get that directory published and then distributed by February 22nd. We continue to sell only Life Care memberships, and outside tours continue to be currently on hold. We encourage each of you to reach out to new residents and to all residents with maybe a Valentine greeting card. Bev Wiggins and Nadine Collins have Valentine cards and birthday cards in a cart outside of their apartment so that you may purchase cards conveniently. They have a sign-in pad where you can complete your order. These beautiful handmade cards cost you $1 a piece, and the proceeds all go to the foundation. Leslie Midkiff reported for our foundation. She said that this year, the year-end thank you letters have been sent to those who contributed $200 and over. The board has put together a task force to oversee the transition of the foundation as a separate entity, which now falls under Westminster Village, Inc. Corporation. Donations may still be sent to accounting payable to Westminster Village Foundation. Leslie is available now through April to answer any of your questions. Kim Evenson reported for communications. Kim encourages residents to actively engage with Westminster on Facebook and would love your input on what kinds of items and activities you might want to see on Facebook. Tom Winkleman, our CEO, reported the rumor that Westminster Village is for sale is not true. He emphasized that apparently this rumor surfaces from time to time. Remember that Tom gives talks every Wednesday, repeated on Thursday, on our own channel 22. You can also hear him on YouTube. Anna Carrillo reported from reception that Cassie is training as our front desk associate. Please welcome her when she is officially here. And IT services are now part of the concierge program. And so if you have a technical problem, you need to call the front desk and a tech will get in, will talk to you and get back to you as soon as possible. We understand that right now they are completing between 15 to 30 work orders every day. Please be patient. Derek and Spencer are part of this team. I want to thank you all for getting your vaccine yesterday. And please be careful and safe in the future. This too shall end. But now I want to wish you all a very happy Valentine's Day. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bernie Curry, and I'm going to report on Plan Ops committees and activities and reports from housekeeping, landscaping, and maintenance. The citrus trees are being picked, the fruit's being picked off of the citrus trees. They're grapefruits and lemons and oranges, and you should have gotten a flyer this week that they'll be in baskets in the front of the Ocotillo restaurant by the maitre d's desk. So if you would like to get some fresh fruit, you can go downstairs and pick some up, or you can have one of the people in Ocotillo or Garden Cafe deliver it for you. In the housekeeping area, they look like they're planning to start the regular housekeeping schedule again by February 23rd, but it'll take some time for them to get everybody back in schedule, because it's been a long time since people have had housekeeping services, and I imagine the dust has piled up a foot and a half in each place, and be a real problem to vacuum, and they may have to change the bags in the vacuum cleaner about 5 times. But they plan on allotting about an hour for each apartment that they clean. Some apartments might take more, and some apartments may have to be done over again, type of thing. So you can give housekeeping a call. Maybe you can set up a schedule for when you want to get back into the housekeeping business. Glad to hear from that Sandra reported that this beauty salon is opening up. I haven't been able to do anything with my hair since then, but so I'm glad to hear it. Let's see, what else do we got here? Oh, the new pond pump out by the front area has been installed, and it looks like it's working pretty good. And all of the ponds have been cleaned and trimmed up and beautified for the summer, and the fish are still alive, and there's fish there. The fish tank downstairs in the main lobby was looking pretty yucky for a while. It was cloudy and so on. A contractor came in and cleaned the fish tank out, didn't get rid of the fish, and it looks like it's pretty clear now. And according to Mike Charles, there are all living organisms inside the pond. I guess there was somebody had put a doll of a scuba diver in the pond and stuck it down there, and some residents didn't think that was nice, and so Mike had it all cleaned out, and the contractor came in, just put everything back in and had living organisms in there. I don't know if we're going to grow a coral reef or not, but that's a possibility. There's been a complaint on the pool temperatures. It was a little cold. Garth Lorenz has told me that the pool temperature is set to its maximum setting and the heater is working fine, so you'll have to just suck it up if it's too cold. I guess the temperature was 84 degrees, and some people like it to be 87 degrees. So 84 is pretty good, especially in the summertime around here. Pool temperatures get up into the 90s around here in the summertime. You get an 84 degree, it's pretty good. The dogs are still a problem. If you walk around the campus outside, some of the residents aren't picking up after the dogs, and it's still an issue. Garth said that they are postponing the resurfacing of the parking lot on the north side of the building on the Cactus Road side until 2022. It was supposed to be done in 2021. this summer, but budget-wise, they pushed it back into next year. Mike Charles reported that the second phase of artificial grass will begin next week. I think it's next week, and it'll be putting in more artificial grass. I don't know how that does with the dogs, but final note, I'd like to add on to what Eleanor said about the IT people. Mike Charles reported in our committee meeting that they had handled over 140 work orders since Michael Tucker and Tom Tucker left. So I guess the guys are working pretty good. It's Derek and Spencer, and Anna sometimes helps. Okay, so I guess they've been doing a real good job. They've been busy, but it works out okay. And as a final note, people watch parades around the parking lot. We had a couple of those lately with the cars. If you want to go out and watch the speeders, the auto races, go out and walk around the building between 3 and 4 in the afternoon. It seems to me people just can't wait to get out of here. So I guess that's all for this month. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Carolyn Mendoza. I'm the new activities chairman. And I'd like to first of all say our committee met yesterday in person for the first time. Everyone was really happy about that. And the first thing we did was thank the activities staff for all the hard work they've done trying to come up with different and safe activities for us through this pandemic. The staff reported that the to-go activities have been very popular and they're working on some more of these. Residents have asked that the Thursday night concert time be changed so it's not during the dinner hour, and staff hopes to have a new time for those concerts sometime in March. In-person activities will begin slowly in March. The Olympics are planned for mid-March. Those will be limited and will utilize games that are already set up in Nuremberg Hall and some other one-on-one games. A request was also made to find out when residents can begin playing pool and poker again. Some residents would like to see the small van tours started again, with perhaps some viewing of outdoor public art installations could be added to the tours. A popular request from residents, as soon as it is safe, is they want to see a celebration, an end of COVID celebration, perhaps a cocktail type party with live music, and that might have to be outside depending on how soon it can take place. That's all I have to report.
I'd like to thank you all for staying around and hearing those reports. We had a lot of business to talk about this month because it's been a long time since we've had the opportunity. With that being said, I'm going to adjourn this meeting and look forward to seeing you in March. Thank you.